Hello, my name is Shia. I am a survivor of domestic violence relationship. I'll end up getting married to Thomas Lee Lewis. But to back it up a little bit, I met him in California. I'm from Sacktown 916, so my friend, she told me about it, my best friend at the time. She kind of connected us. Well, her sister really kind of connected us. So, we hit it off at the pool party, we started filling each other out. So we started dating lightweight, just to get to know each other. And during the process of getting to know each other, I had a roommate. My roommate, we met at the shelter. We was in transitional housing. We were just going through some homelessness, at the time, and got our lives together. I ended up getting a little place. I was working from home. I put her on, so I'm just that type of person. I never been stingy. I always was down to earth. I wore my heart on my sleeve. So, it was a very lesson learned. You can't just bring the devil into your house and make them your friend, make them your man, make them your wife. You got to analyze that thing. We was on two different spectrums, so when I moved her in my house, whatever, um, we had a good, a relationship at that time. She had a child, I had a child, she liked to cook, clean, just being a woman. And I respected that because, yeah, you got to be on your woman. You got to be on your duties. You have to, be that mom. That's what I like, when I'm um connecting with another woman. It's like sister wives, sisterhood. We trying to build and take care of our children, take care of our foundation. But turned out she was a little nymphomaniac, you know what I mean? So I really didn't know that part about her until um I started seeing things play out because she had a boyfriend at that time. So I was like, okay, cool. I supported her and her man. We are a little family unit, whatever, but they ended up getting into it. So he left. And now, she just kind of just, in everyone's face. So when Thomas came around, it was crazy because she was always like, wondering why we in the room too long. Like she used to listen to our conversations, put her ear to my door. Like it got like really weird, like she was always trying to talk to him. So I'm like, okay, that's my little boo thing. Like you need to sit down. You in my house. You feel what I'm saying? You ain't paying no bills. You know what I mean? You do help run the business, but that's about it. Like you ain't kicking me no ducats for you to be trying to run my household like that. So things used to get out of hand, like for real, for real. So anytime that they were alone, she was always trying to kiss on them, rub on them, and everything. And I was just like, I'm watching him too, because I just met him, so I'm trying to observe what he gonna do. So one particular night, she was on one, and she was like, "Hey, you need to send him to my room." Like it was wild. It was just wild. So I told her, I'm like, man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? She wants you like what? What? So he ended up going in the room and having sex with my roommate. So I was hurt, you know what I mean? Because this is supposed to be my little boyfriend in the making, you know what I mean? And he just do that in my own house. She do this in my own house. Like I was like, that's that Cali life. It's like anything goes. You feel what I'm saying? So after that situation, I was just looking at both of them sideways, and it just went crazy because now she talking about she pregnant, and then I'm telling him like, "What you gonna do?" Like she talking about you pregnant. At this time he ended up going back to Pennsylvania, and so we was talking back and forth at that time, and it just was getting crazy. Like she was acting more crazier because I was with him. So fast forward the story, he ended up getting into it with his sister. I guess the sister was you playing his music and the CD was scratching, skipping, whatever. They get into it. His sister pulled a knife on him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember I was in the bathroom and I'm talking to him like, man, like my little boyfriend about to die. Like, what is going on? So I'm trying to I'm I'm trying to talk to him, trying to understand. I'm praying like what is going on. So after that situation dissipated, it was just like everything was just like all the red flags were just there. But since me being so lonely and desperate, I didn't have really much friends. It was just like I'm trying to build this life that I really didn't need. Like I really needed to be by myself at that time, raising my two children from my previous relationship, and that didn't work out because now he got 18 children. So it's like, what can I do with someone that's ripping and running the streets and don't want to build a foundation? So that's another strike. Like I keep attracting these men that don't want to do right. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm trying to do right, and having that pressure of being in a relationship because my best friend at the time and her sister, they used to make fun of me. I mean, not having no man at that time. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like that is nobody's call. Like you shouldn't be making people feel bad because they ain't got no man. I'm waiting on the Most High to bring me a man. You know what I mean? But in Cali, everything is superficial, fast and the furious. You got to do this, you got to do that. Like I'm just so happy that I left because it was so toxic. It was too superficial. It was just not the place to be. So yeah, so I end up reuniting with, Thomas again. He flew back, we connected again. And I ended up moving into a house. So with the same roommate, with the same roommate. Crazy, right? And so during this time, she wanted my baby daddy. He came over, because he came over to bring me some money. So I'm like, okay, cool, you could come over. Should have never did that. Shouldn't even told him where I live. Like, you can't let these people just have all this access. If they toxic and they doing too much in the streets, like you gotta set up some boundaries. So I'm just an open book, just really not thinking, I'm out there, and she wanted to have his baby on the spot. And I said, oh, heck to the no, that ain't happening. Like you ain't even paying rent. You can't barely take care of your baby. You got one baby. You struggling and you over here chasing peanuts everywhere. Like these things got to stop. We talking about needing therapy. We talking about needing the AA. We talking about needing AA being the whole. Like it's just crazy. Like, oh my gosh. Why the devil in the house? Okay, so we get into it. And our baby daddy in the corner, he eating it up. He thinking it's cool. Thinking it's cool, and I'm just like, this is just, yeah, so I killed all of that. She spazzes out. I mean, flipping out. She taking pictures off the wall. I'm getting out of here. So she didn't call the little Mexican mafia on me. You feel me? So I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is just ridiculous. And her sisters were crazy. They lived in Davis, California. And Davis ain't cool because I've been out there a few times. They talking about we don't do no nigger bitches here. And I'm like, what the hell? Am I in Hangtown or am I in Davis? Like it was just so it was just racist out there, precious, however you want to name it. Like it just was not cool. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So once she took off, he left, whatever. I mean, things got wild. So she started breaking into the house, leaving notes, just, trying to intimidate me. So I really didn't feel safe for me and my children. You feel what I'm saying? Because she was just going crazy, attacking my supervisor at the time, calling the police on him. Like, it just really brought a lot of unnecessary heat to our business, to our home front, to everything. So he had to sell the business. I was like, yo, I gotta go. You know what I mean? I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do because I'm in this situation. It's just not cool right now. So me and Thomas was talking, whatever. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to come out there. So I'm talking to his mom, and she trying to support me and everything. That's when everything was cool. And I was like, yeah. So he was like, man, you don't really want to come, because, the setup, he's like, you ain't gonna really like it out here. I'm trying to get my stuff together. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to Cali. I was like, man, I can't wait. I was like, I can't wait for you to come back. Like, it is crazy out here. Like, this girl that lost her mind and she's just barely mentally unstable. You feel what I'm saying? And this is a time when I was, doing my music and everything, and I had both of them, on set when I was doing my music video and everything, and I came home one day, she had my name and my two children tatted on her arm. I was like, okay, I'm playing it cool because I'm like, even my son at the time, he was like, Mom, like, I'm like, baby, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know, like, she was just gonna do all this extra stuff. I didn't meet her like this. It's just folks who really got hide how they really are. I mean, man, why me? So I knew then it was a wrap because she kind of lightweight told me when we were in a hotel, after I did a photo shoot, she was like, I love you. And I'm looking at her like, girl, stop playing. Because at that time, I'm like, I'm not into girls like that. I never was like a full blown lesbian. I dibbled and dabbled, wasn't for me at all. I can admit that, but I was not interested in her. You feel me? I looked at her like a sister. You know what I mean? Like we living together, we building. You supported me with my music. Like we making things happen. So when she told me that, I was just like, I didn't take it seriously until she got my name tatted on her. And then, she wanted to be with Thomas at that time, you know what I mean? Because they had sex together, at the house. So she thinking that's her man too. So, not thinking how he thinking, he used to, he had a Mexican girlfriend before. So, fast forward, he still was talking to her too. Like, wait, so I'm just really just not, I'm just oblivious to all what's happening around me. So I end up getting pregnant and yeah, with my third child. Um and yeah, so at that time I really was ready to go. So I finally ended up moving to Pennsylvania with him, whatever, and I'm telling you it wasn't what I expected. Like I left my place and just moved into a whole shack. You feel me? And I wasn't even trying to be mean at the time, you know what I mean? He had his little he had his little car, you feel what I'm saying? He had a little bucket. I had a little scraper, so I wasn't, trying to be all materialistic because, we building together, but the house was like built in 1800 something. So it was just really old and it really needed to be updated. Like I was just coming from Cali and dealing with that, I was just like, damn, like, okay, this my man. Like, we gonna make this work. So, eventually did some renovations, making things pop, livable because we got a new baby coming. We need new floors, shit, we need new everything at that time. So during me living there, it was just, I just seen a different side of him, and it was crazy because, my friends was like, man, like you moving way out there, you going 3,000 miles. I'm like, I'm pregnant by him. I just want to be with him. There's too much going on in Cali. Like, I just wanted a new life. You feel me? Like, and I was able to achieve that, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have to wear a lot of makeup. I didn't have to wear a lot of weave. Like I was able to be myself for the very first time, leaving Cali because everything was just so superficial. Like you just can't really be yourself. Like people will make fun of you if you ain't got no Jordans on. Like shit was just so it was just dumb. Like you can't raise no family just dealing with all those theatrics and hoes everywhere, like doing too much, So I was like, okay, cool. But then I started to notice this little attitude shift, especially when my laptop broke it in many pieces and he blamed it on my son. And I'm just like, my son would never do that. You feel me? We had this laptop for a minute. You feel what I'm saying? Like my children just don't go around just breaking stuff like that. Like where did that come from? So I was kind of like devastated because this thing was in pieces. Mind you, the same laptop he broke, The same laptop he broke, we talking about 2014. Why did Thomas Lee Lewis give me that same laptop? He gave it to me, what, 2024. He rolled up in a suitcase. He dropping off the children because he had, it was court order from him to bring the children because he took off out of state. I know I'm skipping around the story, but I have to tell you about this laptop suitcase. So when I pick up the children, he's like, "Yeah, I got something for you." And I'm like, I'm not really trying to have no conversations with you because we not cool like that. Like, keep your distance. You feel what I'm saying? Anyways, so when he gave me the laptop uh, that was broken in 2000, 14, 15, he bring it back 2024. So you telling me you kept that same laptop that you broke and said that my son did it? Are you serious? You had it this long and then you want to bring it back to me in 24 and talking about, hey, here you go. I was so livid. Like it really broke my heart. Like I'm like, what kind of monster is this? You know what I mean? But anyway, so after that passed, you feel me? I started having run-ins with his brother. His brother used to live there with us. You feel me? He was in the basement. Okay, cool. But he never wanted to clean. He didn't want to buy no toilet paper. He was like, I ain't buying no toilet paper for no. What grown man is not gonna buy soap, toilet paper, just like basic home essentials for the house? Like, what type of roaching is this? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be respectable, but I'm still just like, oh my gosh. And so, throughout the time, I ended up moving my mom in. So he wasn't happy about that because my mama's kidneys was failing. And he just really had a bad attitude about the situation. You know what I mean? He wanted to charge my mom all this type of rent. Like, looking back at it, it really makes me sad and mad at the same time because he ain't got no empathy. He ain't got no compassion. Because one day my mom, she stayed going to the hospital because I'm trying to adjust to a lot of her needs because my mom's body was just breaking down. And, I'm trying to do much as I can living in Pennsylvania. We live predominantly in a white neighborhood. So, my nerves was bad, just dealing with the culture shock and just, seeing how they treat us, it was just very tough at that time. So my mom had to come out in the stretcher, whatever. And I remember she asked Thomas, she was like, "Am I gonna die?" And he was like, "I don't know." Like he had a little attitude. Like he didn't try to console my mother or anything. Like so he just really became a nasty person. You know what I mean? He wasn't that loving person that I met in California. He wasn't the person I fell in love with. Like he just really changed and just being around him and his family, it was just very awkward, disturbing, and I just knew that I didn't make the right move. But I'm trying to just tough it out, and I ended up leaving. 3 months I left. Got a plane ticket and flew back. So he was angry about that because he was like, "Damn, how you able to do that? Don't trip." Because I'm not about to be living with somebody that's treating my children wrong, blaming them for stuff that they didn't do. He had screens, little screens on the window. The house is raggedy. And you gonna start going off on my babies because it's a hole in the screen. That hole been there. Like shit like that. Like I was just so like aggravated. Okay, so 6 years later, I already planted a life. You feel what I'm saying? I'm connected with organizations. We doing therapy. Well, we try to do therapy, but he was an elephant in the room. You feel me? I didn't made all this happen. You feel me? Doing family therapy. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to just heal and get to know himself and correct himself and, go through the process of being a better person. He didn't want to do that. So I was like, okay, shoot, maybe we do need to leave out of Pennsylvania. You feel me? It was hardly no sun. So, it's a lack of what you call it, vitamin D. You know, a lack of vitamin D could really affect your mental. Like it could make you depressed. Cause I sure was going through it. I was chasing the sun every time the sun came out. I was like, where it's at? You know what I mean? And I watched other people, you know, around my neighborhood, you know, just really just was doot, out of there, you know. But yeah, so we ended up leaving in 2018. We moved to Texas. He took everything, you know what I mean? And, you know, at that time, my mother ended up passing away. So I was kind of ready to leave because everything around me reminded me of my mom. So I was like, yeah, maybe this is best. We could be closer to your mom. The children could be around, you know, their grandma and stuff, you know, so we could just start a new life. Mm. As soon as we got to Texas, his mama needed some money. So he didn't gave her like $700 on the spot, maybe more than that. And I'm like, dude, like we ain't got no money to give. Nope, like we came to Texas for some help. Why is your mama milking us like that? She should be giving us like I don't care about you watching the children and da 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 da. You drink a lot. His mama drink, and she's staying at the budget suites with her man on the third floor. You feel me? It was in the summertime, so we was hot, bothered. Like it was just, oh my gosh. Like I just was like, this is not the, this is crazy. We damn near homeless and we cashing out your mama. Okay, fast forward, so we end up getting into our own hotel at the budget suites in Grand Prairie. You know, so we start, you know, living there. I was so happy because we was at the Irving budget suites, super ghetto. Oh, I love Irving, but that budget suites was just super ghetto, man. I was just like crazy being on the third floor. You know, we got four children. You feel what I'm saying? Like we got two cars, we got four children. Our whole life is in the car. Like it just was just it just wasn't given, you know what I mean? So I immediately got me a job, you know what I mean? Like I'm on it. I'm at the human assistance department. Like there's no resources in Grand Prairie like that. Like shoot, I'm going to churches. Like I made sure we ate. I made sure we were straight. You feel me? But he didn't have that same ability. You feel what I'm saying? He was worried about getting a job, but between you getting a job, there's other things that you could do. You could tap into your resources. You feel what I'm saying? And then you could do the job too. You got to do it all if you in a brand new place and you ain't got nothing. So, you know, we use up our little money that we had. Um, you know, that little credit card, whatever. We had a little money to get us into the budget suites because you got to pay for the month. Cool. All right. So we move in or whatever, and I just immediately just felt a shift. Like he just wasn't feeling me no more. Like he didn't. I don't know if it was because we had to struggle or whatever. I don't know what was in his mind. You know what I mean? But it was just crazy. So while we living in a motel, whatever, you know, I'm busting my butt to make sure that that weekly rate was paid. You know what I mean? So I stayed working, but he just was so dissatisfied, so dissatisfied. Like at that time, we was dealing with roaches, bed bugs on top of that, you know. And my youngest, he was like 2 years old. And I remember one time, I don't know what happened, but he just jumped on a baby. Like, oh my goodness, he just hit my baby out of nowhere. You feel me? And my baby was sucking his fingers. And he took his fingers out and was like, what did I do? I didn't even know my baby could talk when my baby spoke that day. And I was just, I was just enraged. Like, you know, and my other two children, they were just so terrified of him. You know, and it just, we were just all shocked and trauma. Like, I didn't even know what to do at that time. You know, I just consoled my baby, and, you know, I just started going to, you know, organizations to tell my story and, you know, eventually trying to get some help. So as time goes on, you know, we had another incident. You know, my son, he didn't want to do the dishes. You know, me and my son got into it, whatever. And I remember he grabbed my son by the throat, threw him against the wall. He was like 14, 15 at the time. And my baby was like, chill out, chill out. Like he was scared. Like that shit never happened to him. Like I have never had nobody that put their hands on my babies like this. So I was like, man, you get this. Like me and my daughter, we end up, we left. We walked around I'm trying to console her. We in the laundry room, like she just was in the corner, just I was just in a bad situation. Like, man, like, oh my goodness. It was just wild. So once we got through that, we really didn't get through that. I was pretty much walking on pins and needles because I didn't know when he was gonna snap. I didn't know what triggered him. I don't know. I just don't know. So one time I was sleeping and he just jumped on me in the middle of the night, forced himself on me, and I'm just like he never did that before. What we did was always mutual, but this time it was rough. I mean, he's always rough. I forgot to tell you about that part. Like our first encounter, like my edges was gone. And I'm like, okay, I guess he's just like it rough. It's just some more red flags, like I haven't been on the dating scene so long. Like I don't even know what to really expect, just but yeah, so he just took it, and I just, went on with our dysfunctional lives and I became pregnant. I became pregnant and he was mad about that, and I just it took me into a dark place because his mother wasn't supportive. She was like, you guys are wishy-washy, da 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 da. I'm going through all types of stuff. Like I'm trying to be a mom, be a wife, work, hold down the fort, and your son is always fucking miserable. Like he's always miserable. Like I just don't understand. So now he's really pissed off because we got another baby. Mind you, shoot, we going into like maybe 8 months, 8 months into living at this hotel. Like I've never lived in a hotel that long. You feel me? So I'm trying to grit, trying to grind. You know what I mean? So before I even got pregnant, I ended up get into a really bad car accident. I was parked. Okay, when I'm talking about parked, I was working at this job in Carrollton. It was really, really crazy because I had to deal with a lot of sexual harassment, man. These African men was really driving me crazy, but I was really good at my job and I got promoted twice. So maybe that was the reason why they was, cause and they was always, on my car, on our car, like they was always like, ooh, ooh, I like your cars. I mean, well, I used to get off of work and they be waiting by the car, like, what is going on? Like, just super weird. So one day I'm just chilling, about to make the left, and I'm parked. I'm looking at the phone. I have my Elpo logo. Like I was happy that day. I was happy that day. I was at work on time. Everything was fine. The children, like I'm just blessed to have a job. I'm just blessed to be able to pay the weekly rate at the motel. Like like stuff like that. Just like the small blessings. You feel me? So I was like, man, man. So next thing you know, I feel like I'm about to fly out of the car, like the impact. Like I just thought I was dead. I just knew I was. Like phone was flying, everything was flying, food everywhere. Like I mean, he hit me so hard because I'm at a standstill. He was going 60 to 65 miles per hour, and I'm in a parked car. He hit me so hard, I ended up hitting another car. And I was trying to turn to avoid hitting more cars. Ooh, he didn't even care. He was so worried about his vehicle. But anyways, after I went through that, that put me in a dark place. That mean I couldn't work. I took a few days off, but I went back to work. You feel me? Because we need to pay that weekly rate. And at that time, he was trying to become a life insurance agent. And that's another. point. You feel me? He didn't met some chick. I don't know where he met her at, whatever. And I remember he was telling me, yeah, you're gonna have to get used to her being around. What are you talking about? We need to work and pay this rent. Like, we don't have the luxury of getting licensed and all that other stuff. That's cool if you working, you could get your license while you working. But why? It just was crazy. It was just an escape for you to go mess around or do whatever you doing because you already showing signs that you don't want to be with me. You're doing too much. You feel what I'm saying? So while he trying to get licensed, I still gotta work and still get to work. Luckily we had another car, so I could still maintain going to work while my back is messed up and everything. Like I had to take myself to therapy. I had to still move around. This man didn't massage my feet, make me something to eat. He did not cater to me at all when I had the accident. I ended up getting a lawyer, boom, whatever. So, before then, I was, trying to heal myself, whatever, and in times when I wasn't working, we was lacking on money, so I was getting, payday loans, whatever I needed to do to pay the rent. So one time he was mad because he needed the phone bill to be paid. So I'm like, man, so I'm feeling some type of way. I'm gonna go get her, like, what's up, whatever. So me and my youngest daughter, we went to go walk to the store. It was about a mile away, whatever. It was a cool little walk because it was tucked in. We didn't have to really be by the street. It was like a little trail. So we walked to the store and yeah, just to get a break and just do something different instead of be, bunched up in our hotel looking at daddy being angry and mad because his life is bad. And so we ran into this woman, sweet, sweet woman. Turned out she was a Christian lady, and she gave my baby $100 that day. I wish I was still in a connection with her, not because of the money, it's just because her heart, her welcoming us to her church. Okay, so when she gave my baby the $100 and bought her a toy, man, right? So we came home, and so I was so excited because I was like, now I got the money to help with the phone bill. Why he mad? He was mad that I was able to get the money. Like he couldn't believe that somebody gave me $100. That ain't the first time somebody gave me $100. Like the Most High was looking out for me and the children. Another lady gave me $100. That's a whole nother story. But at this time, I gave him the money. He was mad and accusing me prostituting with my daughter. Oh my gosh, I flipped out. I flipped out, y'all. Like I flipped out. Like this is no way that he gonna be tripping. Like so I get on the phone. I ended up telling the lady I'm in the bathroom. Like man, he is spazzing out. But she like I don't want to get involved. That's your husband, and I get that all the time. That's why I'm in this situation. I couldn't get no help. I couldn't get no help dealing with this narcissist. He was just doing too much. So now he mad I got the money. Now he mad that I'm talking about him. Now he mad and now the money is missing. He didn't hid the money. So I'm tearing up the room. At the time, I'm pregnant. So it's just like I'm really emotional at this time. You hiding money. We went on a mission. You blame me for doing stuff that I wouldn't do with my daughter. Like I was so done, y'all. I was so done. I was so done. Like, okay, so after that situation, I end up getting I end up getting the 10,000 from the car accident. Why this man super pregnant at this time? Why this man was like, oh, okay, just put it in my account and we could get the money quicker. I'm not even thinking, so I just hand him the check, like a dumbass. Hand him the check, whatever. Okay, so I'm waiting for him to cash it. You know what I mean? We gonna split it or we gonna do what we need to do. So I'm on my way to work. We was end up working at the same place at Dialogue Direct. in Fort Worth, Texas. It was kind of between Fort Worth and Grand Prairie, Texas. It's just weird. Like they just be intertwining. But I remember when before I even got out the car and I was about to clock in, he called me. He was like, you know what? Just keep your work checks. You ain't gotta worry about it. You ain't gotta worry about, you just keep all the money that you made. It didn't even dawn on me. It didn't even dawn on me. I'm like, okay, whatever, whatever. I mean, he my husband. He ain't give me not a dollar of that money, y'all. Not even a dollar. He didn't buy no clothes for the children, no shoes for the children, no nothing. I ended up using all my little work checks, all the little money I had. You feel what I'm saying? And I ended up getting us an apartment. Me, not Thomas. He didn't get us nothing. He rather stay in a motel and pay the weekly rate and do whatever God knows what you was doing. You feel me? In that motel. So I got us an apartment and we moved in and everything. And I'm laying on the air mattress like, when you coming home? Like, we got an apartment now. Like, why are you still at the motel? Mm, hoes was coming up to the door. So when I went to go visit him, whatever, there was some women popping up at the door. And then he tried to act like he didn't know who it was. What? Because it was crazy because his mama made a remark talking about some hoes, some prostitutes. She was being funny, but I ended up connecting the dots. Like, you serious? You didn't spend the money that I almost lost my life with, and you wouldn't even spend it on me or the children, but you over here tricking when you don't got it. I was just like, so, he finally moved in, and I made a comment like, damn, where the money go? Like, you ain't showing me no receipts. He got a bunk bed, but you ain't never took my babies on a shopping spree. I'm still using all my money that I make, while I'm pregnant. And then when I had a baby, you didn't even want to come to the hospital. You didn't want to cut the umbilical cord. You want to be asleep. The doctor had to wake him up. Like, you wanted, like, I just wish I was able to have children around a man that embraces family, embraces the children. Like, I'm not a money making machine. Sure the hell not a baby making machine. But that's how you treated me. You feel me? So when my baby was born, my baby Prince was born, I came home and house was a mess. I'm a germaphobe. I'm a really clean person. So I was kind of upset. Like, you ain't cleaned the house. Like, what do you be doing? Sitting on your butt on that computer playing with your phone. Like, you are not running that household like a king should. But you want to whoop on these babies. You want to choke the children out. Like, you want to do all this crazy stuff. So, I really just started separating myself. And at this time I got so many different type of men trying to holler at me because they see that I wasn't being treated right. But at the same time, I'm just like, nah, 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 nah. You know what I mean? So I end up I end up getting catfish from a celebrity on Twitter, and I mean it just went really left. But at that time, I really needed somebody to talk to. I really, because I was in a dark place. Like, I was trying to take my life dealing with this man, and he told me to do it. Like, looking back at it, like, I can't be like, oh, why did I do this? I mean, it was when you with a narcissist, it's like, that's a whole different level of living, a whole different level of everything. I've never experienced that because I've always been a strong person. My cutoff game was strong, but I had all these children. I was married. Like, it was a different dynamic. You feel me? And I didn't have a support system because his mama just as dysfunctional as him. So I can't run to her. She'll justify it, or she'll be like, "I'll talk to him," like things like scratch. And so I had to defend myself. You feel what I'm saying? So 2020, That's why it was really getting lit. You know what I mean? Like I caught him masturbating, you know, he was into porn and stuff at that time, and I didn't like that either. Cause you don't even make love to me. You don't touch me. You don't kiss me. You don't hug me. You feel me? You talking about I don't look the same. What is that supposed to mean? You ain't the finest thing in the world either, but I'm not gonna tell you that because I love you for what you are. You feel what I'm saying? So you wanna play the victim all the time when you're not playing your part. No relationship is perfect, but you gotta put in some type of work. You can't neglect your wife and your children like that and then dive into your little rap career and well, you want to be a life insurance agent and all this other stuff. Like, dude, we have to do this as a collective. So 2020, it went down. It went down. It got really physical. It got really physical to the time where I didn't even know I was on the floor. This fool didn't attack me so quick. I was on my back like that. Yeah, I spazzed out on him a few times, especially when he was masturbating in the bathroom and stuff. I went off. I went off because I don't understand why you treated me like this. So when I was trying to get in the door and he slammed the door on my face like, like he didn't squish my face with the door, boom, like, no, you ain't gonna hit me with the door. So it was a wrap. It was a wrap. Like I chewed up the phone and everything. Like I was done. I was done at the time. So he called the police on me. I ended up going to jail. Police come in. This is Arlington, Texas police. You feel what I'm saying? Like they don't play. Now the few times they came, that's when COVID was here, and I was working like a maniac. I always worked, and I always gave him my money to pay the rent. You feel what I'm saying? So he can't say I was some lazy mom. He can't say I was broke. No, I didn't gave you all. I gave you so much money. It's not even funny. You feel me? Like all that money should have go to my babies. My baby should have had a freaking bank accounts right now. You feel what I'm saying? I just didn't play my cards right because at the end of the day, I end up hiding money. You know what I mean? And then my stuff used to come up missing or used to get destroyed because I couldn't buy nothing for myself. I remember he got mad because I bought myself a TV. Bought me a big screen TV. You feel me? A 65 inch. You feel me? So I'm like, this is my first time buying a TV. Like I can't do nothing for myself. I can't do nothing for the family. I fully furnished the apartment. We had a new couch every month. We had a new dining room table. Like we always had nice stuff because of me. And I ain't even trying to brag or boast, but that just always been me. Like, oh my gosh. So it was just oh my I just never met no man like this. I want to call him a boy because only boys do this stuff when they just not, you know, ready for manhood. So between 2020, and going into uh 2021, we end up leaving because we end up getting evicted. Like I can't do all this on my own. So we ended up getting evicted, got into a hotel. I ended up, looking for another apartment. So, we found a place in Fort Worth. It wasn't what we wanted, but it was all bills paid and that's when things just really just took a turn, and it wasn't where we wanted to live, but it was something. I didn't want to be back in a motel again. And this is the time when my son, he just ran away. He was like, forget that he was done. Yeah, before we even moved to Hanley, my daughter ran away. My baby was what, 14 at the time. I was working at HelloFresh and 7 police came to my job. I was scared. I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to jail." Like, I don't know why I was going to jail, but I didn't understand why there was 7 police waiting for me outside at HelloFresh. I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? So the thing was, my baby ran away because Thomas did something to her, and the police was like, "He is not a good dad." Even the police said he wasn't a good dad. And I was so embarrassed. I was so mad. Like, how can I work and be at home? Who is gonna pay the rent? Like, what is going on here? So That was one incident. So before we even moved to Hanley, it just got worse and got worse. So 2021 to 2022, it was going down. It was going down. Like I ended up moving out of the room. You feel what I'm saying? Like he was still acting like his old self, and he always want to play the victim, and he was always blaming me, cheating on him and things of that nature. Look, buddy, you still texting your ex. You sending my baby's pictures to your ex. Like I know all these things. You said you want to divorce me on Mother's Day. Like you at the lowest. You at the lowest. Like you shouldn't even be worried about what I'm doing. I never slept with no man while we were married and living together. You feel what I'm saying? So like scratch all of that. Like, I'm on social media, I'm doing my thing, things is popping. He's steadily stalking my socials, whatever. Like, hey, I rap too, I dance too. I'm working for the radio station. Like I'm doing all types of stuff because I'm an entrepreneur. I know how to get it. So he mad. He always mad. So I'm hiding money, moved out the room. I'm living with my daughter, whatever. And I start going to these organizations that help me get away. Cause he's verbal abusive. He's abusive to the children, beating them with hangers till they 20 pieces on the ground. You feel what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I'm tired of you beating on my baby. He's 7 years old now. Like, you've been beating on him since he was two. And like I start telling people, you know what I mean? So when he when he jumped on me, when he choked me out in front of my baby, he's 7 years old now, but at that time he was like 5, and he saved my life. My baby saved my life. The same one that took his fingers out of his mouth and talking about what I do. He always stuck up for himself. That's my baby, man. That's my baby. So he screamed so loud, like them screams like a horror scream. And he let go of my neck, and then he started crying, and then he started apologizing, and I haven't been right since. Ever since I got strangulated like that. Like I've been strangulated before with my previous relationship, but I was able to get away. But this time I freaking passed out. That means I could have been finito. But my baby saved my life, so I wasn't right ever since. And so when he did it again, and I had to headbutt him, I ended up cracking my skull to get away from him. And then he called the police on me, and then I go to jail. I went to jail, what, two, three times because of him, acting like he ain't did nothing. So it's really been hard. So that last time, he did not let me come back home. And the people that had my back, they was like, man, you don't need to go back to that house. He gonna kill you. Like everybody said that he was gonna kill me. So I'm basically living on the streets, trying to find somewhere to be, and I be hunting around the house, looking through the window, checking on the babies, while I'm going through these programs, trying to get into a shelter, trying to do whatever I needed to do to survive. You feel what I'm saying? And so next thing I know, while I was in the shelter, this man take off and move all the way to Memphis. All the way in Memphis. So I'm about to end this video because I don't know how long I could talk before I could upload. But to be continued, we're going to talk about how Thomas just up and left Texas and moved to Memphis to go live with his grandma. Hold up.